Now we will work out one comprehensive question. Comprehensive question means actually it has not included the entire topics of this chapter, but even then we can consider it as a comprehensive type of question. It is illustration number 58. We will go through the question first. Issued applications for 1 lakh shares. It is not rupees, it is the number. 10 each, payable as it is not, there is no premium. 2 on application, 3 on allotment, balance on first and final. Applications were received for 3 lakh. So, it is oversubscription question. You remember oversubscription portion. See, all these topics will be included in one 8 marks question. All topics of this chapter, starting from the basic entry till that reissue, till that balance to be transferred to capital reserve. That is the final journal entry in this chapter. All these topics will come in one question for your board exam. Do not worry, if you practice you can easily score marks. So, 3 lakh shares, that is the oversubscribed number. So, you must do working note, and the shares were allotted on pro rata basis. Excess application money was to be adjusted against allotment only, that means pro rata. M, a shareholder who had applied for 3000 shares, failed to pay the call money, and his shares were accordingly forfeited and reissued at rupees 8 per share as fully paid up. Okay, so here one of the shareholders failed to pay the call money. Should we do company calculation? We need anyways. Should we do individual calculation? We have discussed individual calculation in one question. We will be working out some more questions, but in this question, should we do individual calculation? Individual calculation is not needed because what are the 2 conditions to be satisfied under individual calculation? One is question must be with oversubscription. This question is with oversubscription, that condition is satisfied. Second condition is the shareholder fails to pay the second installment. And what is the second installment? Usually the second installment will be allotment. Of the application, second installment will be allotment. If the shareholder fails to pay the allotment, then you must do the individual calculation. Then question must be with oversubscription. Both the conditions must be satisfied, then only we need to do individual calculation. Here individual calculation is not to be done because shareholder fails to pay only the first call. So, we need not do individual calculation, but always you have to see whether the allotted number is given in the question. Here it is said M who had applied for 3000 shares. Applied number is given, but always you need allotted number for calculations. So, if allotted number is not given, for that you have to do that formula. You remember number of shares, total shares allotted by total shares applied into number of shares applied and all. That formula you will have to apply here to compute the allotted number of shares. If allotted was given, no calculation is needed. Understood? Other than that, you do not have to write like application money received. I am talking about the individual calculation. Company calculation is needed. Individual calculation, you just have to compute the allotted number. Nothing else you need to write. I will show that. So, we will write the split up first, then we will write the company calculation. Application 2, 3 and the balance. So, 3 plus 2, 5, the balance is 5. Only one call we have, isn't it? Yes, first and final call. Then we have to do the working note for company calculation. You give the heading working note and write company calculation. That is, what should we write first? Total application money received. On how many shares you are getting? On 3 lakh shares. What is the application per share? It is 2 per share. So, it is 6 lakhs. Then less actual application money, that is 1 lakh into 2 per share. Just take the application per share. So that is 2 lakhs. Now we got the excess application money. Excess application money is 4 lakhs. Then if there is rejection, you must write less rejection and the balance will be taken as pro rata figure. But here there is no rejection. They are saying it was done on pro rata basis. So entire 4 lakhs you can take on pro rata basis. What is pro rata? Excess money will be adjusted with allotment. But before you transfer entire 4 lakhs to allotment, always check like this, and it is written specifically, the shares were allotted on pro rata, and the next sentence, excess application money was to be adjusted against allotment only. The excess 4 lakhs entire amount you are adjusting with the next installment, that is the allotment installment. So we will see what is the allotment money actually needed. So we will write one more step. Usually we are not writing this step under company calculation. Individual calculation we have to write, but company calculation usually we will not be writing. But here we need, since specifically they are saying entire excess money will be adjusted to allotment only. So we have to see what is the allotment money needed, what is the allotment money due. It's on 1 lakh shares you have to take 1 lakh into what is allotment per share. Just see the split tip on the top, it's 3. So we need only 3 lakhs. The entire excess amount 4 lakhs can be transferred for allotment, but we need only 3 lakhs. We have 4 lakhs. What should we do now? In this situation, we should reject, we should refund, not reject, we should refund, we should give the amount of 1 lakh back to the shareholders. So this must be refunded. Usual question will not be doing all these, but here since it is written excess application entire money to be adjusted with allotment, we have to check what is the allotment money needed. So due amount or needed amount is only 1 lakh into 3 per share, 3 lakhs. But we have 4 lakhs, so the excess 1 lakh now to be refunded. It's not because we have rejected their shares, just because we have an amount of 1 lakh in excess, that will be refunded. There is no rejection here, only because excess of 1 lakh is there with us, that we will refund it to the shareholders. 3 lakhs will be adjusted with allotment. Only for this question we are doing like this, these type of questions. Other than that, you can stop with excess application money, that 4 lakhs you will take as pro rata in normal questions. Okay. Then individual calculation you don't have to do, but for for the shareholder M, you must compute the number of shares allotted. You have to always see whether the allotted number is given. If it is not given, you must compute it. And what's the formula we learned for that? Total shares, what we need you write as numerator. It's not the number of shares allotted, it's the total shares allotted. That means company's figure you have to take. Total shares allotted, that is under pro rata. You write total shares allotted under pro rata. Here the entire question is under pro rata. There is no rejection. Refund is because we got an excess, not because of rejection. Total shares applied under into number of shares, you take the same which we wrote for denominator. Not the total number, it's just the number of shares applied by the shareholder M. Now we will substitute total shares allotted under pro rata. How many shares did the company allot? Total number is 1 lakh. We allotted altogether 1 lakh. The public had applied for 3 lakhs. So total shares applied is 3 lakhs into how many shares applied by M? 3000 shares. So this is how you have to do the calculation. So it is 1000 shares. 1000 is the number of shares allotted to M. You need this allotted number always. See, comprehensive questions will take some time. I mean, for you to understand, you need some time. Watch this video 2-3 times. Don't get tense, don't get worried. Watching it for the first time, you will not understand it. It is a comprehensive question. All portions we are discussing. Prorata is there, refund is there, then individual calculation is there, then we have to discuss forfeiture and reissue. Everything is there in this question. So it will take some time, it should take some time. At first itself you will not understand. So watch this video 2-3 times. Okay. Yes, so 1000 is the number of shares allotted. So working note is over. Now we can start journal. The first journal entry, bank account debtor to, is it equity share? Yes. So to equity share application, what will you do? You have to look into the working note and take the figures. Take the first amount from your working note, that is 6 lakhs. And you must include prorata entry, refund entry and all. Write the narration. Then the next one, equity share application account debtor to equity share capital. Take the second amount from your working note, that is 2 lakhs. Then as third entry, what you have to do is not allotment entry, because here we have a refund of 1 lakh. The third entry must be refund entry. What is the refund entry? Reverse of first entry. You are giving the application money back. So equity share application account debtor to bank account. In your textbook they have written compound entries. You don't have to do compound entries. You will make mistake if you write compound entries. So write like this. And the refunded amount, it's all these are there in your working note, just copy paste. It's 1 lakh that we refunded. Then we write the allotment due entry, which is equity share allotment account debtor to equity share capital. See whether we have any premium here. All those you have to consider. There is no premium. So equity share allotment debtor to equity share capital, it's on 1 lakh you have to take all these. Only for the first one you will take 3 lakhs. It's 1 lakh into what's the allotment per share, that is 3. So it is 3 lakhs. Next, before you write the allotment received entry, what should we write? The pro rata entry should come in between. What is pro rata entry? Equity share application debtor to equity share allotment. Meaning is excess application getting adjusted with allotment. Then you can write the bank entry. And always you have to see whether there is calls in arrears here. If there is calls in arrears, you remember that must be opened with the term bank. If there is premium, that must be opened with the term share capital. So all these you have to check. So first itself you must read the entire question, word by word you must read. See whether there is premium, see whether there is calls in arrears. If there is calls in arrears, with which installment you have that calls in arrears, all these you must read in the first itself. You must have an idea of the entire question. Otherwise you will forget. When you record this allotment entry, suppose there is premium, and if you don't have any idea regarding that, you will not write to SPR. So the entire question must be there in your mind, all points must be there in your mind. That you can do, or you can finish quickly only if you practice. First itself you can't do all these. So the pro rata entry will write equity share application account debtor to equity share allotment. So that's a pro rata entry. What's the pro rata figure? It's not 4 lakh, sorry. 1 lakh we refunded, no. So 3 lakhs is the pro rata figure. All these are there in your working note. Always look into the working note and write the entry. Next is allotment received entry, that is bank account debtor to equity share allotment account. Now, what is allotment due amount? Allotment due amount is 3 lakhs. What is the excess we got with application? 4 lakhs we got, 3 lakhs we transferred to allotment. Now, is there any balance to be received? No. So, there is no entry like bank debtor to share allotment. Don't write that entry because excess is 3 lakhs. What we need for allotment is also 3 lakhs. So, that excess we adjusted with allotment. So, there is no need to write that bank entry. Nothing to be received in this situation, or at this point of time, nothing more to be received. So, we can directly move on to the first call entry, equity share first and final call account debtor to equity share capital. See whether there is any premium. If it is there, you must write to SPR. So, here it's 1 lakh into, that is 5. So, 5 lakhs is the due amount. Next we will write the received entry. That time you must remember there is calls in arrears. Bank entry when you write, remember there is calls in arrears with first call. So, bank account debtor, debit calls in arrears here. That's why I am asking you to read the question in the beginning itself. Calls in arrears account debtor to equity share first and final call account. See, some people will do like this. I mean, when they do the comprehensive question, since it is lengthy, they'll first read the first 2 sentences, then they'll write the journal entry for that, then they'll read the next sentence. Don't do like that for comprehensive question, especially in this chapter, because there will be premium with certain installments, there will be calls in arrears with certain installments. So, better you read the entire question first, get an idea of the whole question. Then, if you get confused in between, you can read, there is no problem. But first itself, you must read the entire question. You must have an idea regarding the entire question. So, bank account debtor, yes. Now, we will write the figures. How many shares, on how many shares we didn't get the calls in arrears? Okay. M didn't pay the call money, and the call money is 5 per share, and he had applied for 3,000. Are we collecting on 3,000? No, not on applied you are collecting. What we gave is only 1,000 that we computed. In the working note we have computed. That's why I asked you to get that number of shares allotted. So, always you have to see whether the number of shares allotted to the shareholder is given. If it is not given, you must calculate using the formula. Understood? And in case if he fails to pay the allotment money, you must do that entire individual calculation like we did in one video. In previous video we have done that. So, here the allotted number is only 1,000. So, here the calls in arrears will be on 1,000 into 5, not on 3,000. What we gave them is only 1,000 shares. And equity share first and final call, the same account you can see here. Did you see the same account? So, take the same amount, 5 lakhs. So, that is 4,95,000. Now, we can move on to forfeiture and reissue. So, write forfeiture entry since there is no premium. Write the basic entry, which is equity share capital account debtor to forfeited shares to calls in arrears. Do we have calls in arrears account in the previous entry? Yes. What is your calls in arrears in the previous entry? That is rupees 5,000. So now we can write the same amount against collision areas. Okay. So you take the same amount which we wrote against collision areas before. Then what we received, that is the forfeited shares amount we have to write. What did we receive? He failed to pay call money means he has paid the application and the allotment, so altogether it's 5. So he paid that 5 per share on how many shares? Forfeiture on how many shares? Okay, they haven't specified how many shares we are forfeiting. What would be the answer? The shareholder M didn't pay the first call and we forfeited his shares. How many shares he was having? Is it 3,000 you have to take? No, he was not having 3,000. He applied for 3,000. We gave him only 1,000. So what we cancelled is only 1,000 shares. So here the number of forfeited shares is 1,000. So altogether share capital is 10,000. Now you write the reissue entry. It's not partial reissue, isn't it? Just read the question. Forfeited and reissued. Okay, it's not partial reissue, it's complete reissue, nothing specifically mentioned. So it's complete reissue. You need not apply the formula. Bank account debtor, leave one line and write to equity share capital. Bank will take the at figure, that is 1,000 into, what is at figure here? 8 per share. That is 8,000. It's written fully paid up. Fully paid up means entire face value you have to take. That is 1,000 into 10, no? Yes. Fully paid up means entire face value you have to take, not the issue price. Here there is no premium, nothing is there. Face value always you have to take here. Then debited will be the difference, 2,000. Forfeited shares account debtor, 2,000. Now the final journal entry, that is forfeited shares account debtor to capital reserve. Just find the difference because it's complete reissue. Capital reserve, that is 5,000 minus 2,000. So that is the final journal entry. Now you can close this. Okay, so this is how you have to do a comprehensive question. Here we did that oversubscription working note. Then under individual calculation, allotted number we did. We didn't do the entire individual calculation, but allotted number we computed. Then when we did company calculation, what happened there? 4 lakh was excess, but only 3 lakhs needed for allotment. So excess 1 lakh we refunded, not because of rejection. So many so many portions we discussed in this one single question. So watch this video, repeat this video 3 or 4 times and then you try that question.